Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we answer the question, are there Skaven in Warhammer 40K? Short answer, kind of. They're called Smelt Rats, and we're going to talk about them today. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day. And if you have any suggestions or have other questions, just comment down below and we'll try to create a video for you. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Smelt Rats. Mutation has plagued humanity even before the creation of the Imperium itself. And while man does everything in its power to eradicate the malevolent mutants that rise up amongst every planetary population, very little attention is placed on the non-human organisms that live alongside them. This lack of concern towards animal mutations has given a rodent species native to the hive world of Desolum in the Ascalon sector the opportunity to grow and prosper from its mutations. Known by the few locals that have encountered the semi-intelligent rodents, the Smelt Rats are a strange and mysterious species. Sometimes referred to as smelters or scav rats, these abominations were thought to have been created by an individual or organization for some malevolent purpose. But seeing as these rats flourish on their own, it is difficult to assume that a force other than mutation has created these creatures. Most likely, this species was once a typical hive rat that slowly mutated and evolved into a much larger and dangerous menace. Smelt rats can be as large as an ancient Terran dog, with razor-sharp teeth, long tails, and sharp claws. But what sets these creatures apart from the more dangerous underhive beasts is their cybernetic components. Smelt rats are intelligent and able to augment themselves to become deadlier in combat. Bionic eyes, reinforced tails, and metallic claws are some of the few common augmentations worn by these robotic rodents. While the augmentations are poorly designed, there are some smelters that are completely covered in steel. What's very peculiar about the smelt rats is that they actively avoid humans and inhabit the deep abandoned parts of the underhive, only coming out of their lairs when in need of bionic parts. These stolen cybernetics are then used to augment more of their population. When scav rats hunt, they target individuals that possess the most cybernetics, like members of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Never attacking alone, these rats form swarms that erupt into a frenzy, attacking in overwhelming waves of gnawing teeth, wiring servos, and chain-bladed claws. Once the smelt rat has brought down an individual, they rip every machine part from its body and leave the fleshy bits behind. Mangled carcasses of servitors have been found on numerous occasions, with signs that even the wires have been gnawed off to the bone. There is no signs of chaotic taint connected to smelt rats, placing some individuals at ease over their existence, believing that they are simply a nuisance that should be exterminated, but not a great risk to the Imperium. Exterminating these creatures has proved difficult, as they are extremely resilient to poisons. Unfortunately, some reports of these creatures have been rumored on other planets in the Ascalon sector, quite possibly stowing away on ships and spreading through the sector. No motive other than looting of cybernetics has been detected as of yet, but they might just be building up their forces and waiting for the right opportunity to make their presence known. Encounters have been reported where the smelt rats are led by a leader of sorts. So-called smelt rat kings. These are made up of numerous rats fused together in hideous and unnatural ways. Such tales speak of dozens or even hundreds of individual creatures conjoined by artificial components with tails, wires, and cables tangled together and cemented with rust and filth. Each rat in this conglomeration gives up a part of their individual free will and creates some kind of justal intelligence capable of moving with a single-minded purpose. And those were 40 facts on the Smelt Rats. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. These guys are the Skaven of Warhammer 40K. It's pretty interesting now that we know so much about Warhammer 40K. We can pretty much connect any race within Age of Sigmar or Fantasy and draw a parallel to Warhammer 40K. Now, of course, the big difference, though, is that Smelt Rats are not as big of a threat as in the world of Age of Sigmar or Fantasy, and of course they're not chaotic in nature, or at least I think they're chaotic in nature. I think the Skaven are chaotic in nature in Age of Sigmar, if I'm not wrong. I don't know if, because I don't think they're part of the Order of Destruction, So they must be part of like the whole chaos stuff, I believe. But again, I'm not too sure. Comment down below if I'm wrong. But like I was saying, it's you can pretty much connect any race within fantasy, and it has a similar race within Warhammer 40k. You have the dwarves, you have squats, you have Beastmen. You have Beastmen with us. You have or with 40k. The same can't be said though about 40k to Age of Sigmar. I don't think there's anything that resembles a Tyranid in Age of Sigmar or fantasy. Tyranids were very unique because of the whole alien thing. Same thing with the Tau. But I feel like any fantasy faction can be seen in Warhammer 40k. Even like the giant like guys who ride rhino-looking creatures. They're basically Ogrins. Just not as beefy or not as menacing or not as intelligent. There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, as far as the goal or the motive for the Smelt Rats, I think the lore is written in a way so that it's up to whoever is directing the campaign, because this lore is coming from the Dark Heresy books. The Dark Heresy books are, of course, it's a game. It's a role-playing game, so you play as a party and you go off into a quest, and the quest usually has a bunch of mysteries. One of the mysteries would be, like, what's going on with the Smelt Rats, and I think the Dark Heresy book is written so that you kind of explore that idea, and whoever is directing the quest gives them a motive, whether it's as simple as like they're just trying to steal technology, or it's more complex as you know, they're actually trying to build an empire underneath the Imperium, and they're using like hive worlds as their like base of operations, and there's like a central organization that's leading them, or some type of hive mentality. That would be pretty badass. Something that I thought about, and something that I think I would like to see, is that the Smelt Rats are actually being created by Gretchen, because Smelt Rats are very orcish in nature. They're very resilient. I mean, they're resilient to most poisons, and their bodies are pretty tough, which is why a lot of the augmentations are just kind of like thrown on there, and they're menacing, and they're good for like close combat, just like an orc. So it seems like a very orky thing to do to a creature. It would be interesting if like there was a grot who was a little bit more wiser than the rest of the grots, somehow managed to get onto the hive world, or was born into this hive world, and now he's in the Underhive, like creating a bunch of like rodents, and he's trying to create an army, and he doesn't want to get bossed around, or he's tired of being bossed around, so of course he's not going to join an orc wall or create a wall. Every time he sees a spore, he'll try to kill it or something, and in the meantime he's just building an army of rats that he can use to steal or loot more things, which is another very orky characteristic, to loot. So he's probably part of like some clan of Bad Moons or something, or he was a Bad Moon, Gretchen, and he was friends with the Big Mac, and the Big Mac taught him how to do augmentative operations and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, it's just fun to play around with theories and stuff like that. And actually, I had an idea. Next month, in the beginning of October, they're going to have the armies on parade at GW stores. And I was thinking of actually creating a board for my Skitarii, and it would be really fun to kit bash maybe some Skaven models with some Skitarii models and create these creatures, the Smelt Rats. And then I can like talk about the lore of the Smelt Rats, and it would just be a cool addition to the actual board, and it would just look really nice. I might do a weekly video update on how that stuff is going. I'm not too sure, or I might just create one video towards the end, just showcasing the entire board that I'm going to create for the armies on parades. If you guys are participating, I would love to hear what you guys are going to create. But yeah, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the Smelt Rats. If you guys have any other suggestions for other topics of Warhammer 40k, please comment down below. We read that stuff every day. And yeah, thanks for supporting us, guys. Thanks for listening. If you want to support us a little bit more, jump on over to Patreon. It's a simple $1 a month, and it helps us create more videos for you guys. If you can't, don't worry. Simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, it helps out the channel. But you guys probably already know that. With that said, thanks for everything, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Oh, if you could put my freedom back.